It'll be.
What?
I feel like. I feel like it's always better to overload people with information. You know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people probably are scared right now and think that. What is that? We don't know. Kind of. Some of the things. And I was even talking in my video that I am uploading. I was saying that it'd be impossible for us to use this dewormer, but then after we sat down and talked about it, formulated the plan, it's like that's changing now, you know?
Yeah.
So, even in the last,
All you can do is keep trying. I don't.
we'll get there. Hi, friends. I'll wait for some more people to join before I go on my, not a rant. I just want to talk about a little bit of research that I've been doing. Talk about maybe a little bit of what's going on, kind of what, we're doing. All those things. So we're going to wait for a little bit of people to get in here. And we'll talk about it. Hi, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to get started because it's late and I still have to cook dinner. I know there's not a lot of people in here, but everyone will be able to go back and watch this. So, if y'all know by now, Ellie posted a video about Angel. Angel passed, got a necropsy done, passed out of the blue, no symptoms. Crazy. Got a necropsy done and it came back parasites, which was the last thing we thought it was going to be. I have a video I'm trying to upload. It's 40 minutes long, so it's a beast to upload. I'm trying to get it to upload, and I talk about kind of the education behind it all and just some things we're going to be doing. But as Ellie uploaded his video, and this is no shade to anybody not being mean, there have been a lot of comments about like a lot of stuff that we should be trying, a lot of people concerned about the birds, a lot of people too understandably don't know the science of it and the
I
research.
think most people are trying to help.
They're trying to help. It's nothing wrong.
There's only like one or two that were kind of snippy and kind of the majority who even thought about it. They just sent all their love and care.
Try some things with those suggestions. Like, as I've researched some more and I've had time to cool down a little bit and just think even more after reading people's suggestions, I wanted to talk about some of the research that I have read in the last hour since people have suggested things. So the specific worm that Angel had and that we continue to deal with, it is of the same class every single time. It's barber pole worms. That also with that falls under roundworm and tapeworm commonly with it. So why is it happening to us? And why does it seem like it's not happening to anybody else? I didn't talk about that in my video. Y'all, we're not going to sit here and lie to you. We have a lot of animals, we have quite a few small ruminants which are goats, sheep, on our pasture. So that means they're all eating on the same ground. They're all pooping on the same ground. So that leads to how does barber pole happen? First of all, it's important to note barber pole is species specific. I have looked up the species that can get it. Cows can get it, but they're hardly ever affected, right?
They're not affected.
They're not affected?
No.
No, it wasn't it wasn't cows. What was it?
Donkeys.
Donkeys. We think donkeys can get it.
People actually, they have cows, chickens, and pigs because those animals will eat a goat's poop and the barber pole worms die inside of them. And so it actually said a big tip is to preferably have cows graze with your goats because the cows will eat the majority of the parasites they can get in. Okay. Those die inside the cow's body and they're so hardy.
So we're still trying to figure out about donkeys. That's going to take a little more research.
Now that I think of it, Paw and Dan do have cows with them.
Yeah, and you know what? Bree has horses. Which are, they called that a dead-end host.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Horses too.
That
but
makes
cows
a lot
are the
of
best
sense.
because cows just swallow by far the most grass.
So there's that. And like I said, we're not trying to hide anything here. We know we have quite a few goats, and we're not going to reduce the number we have right now. We're just not going to intake right? That's the best way to kind of put it.
Yeah.
We're going to try, in the future to not have as many. I talk about that in my video, so I'm not going to go in depth there. But how does the barber pole wear happen? What happens, I can't go back to the very beginning of time and tell you exactly how it started, but what I know is what happens is the worm is in the goat or sheep's intestines in their belly. Then what happens is said animal eventually goes to the bathroom, and the barber pole worms, where the parasites are still alive because they're not dead in their body, and they come out in their fecal, in their poop. I'm going to use very, very bland terms to explain it as easy as I can. Comes out in their poop. So then they're in the soil. That's how they get in the soil, okay? They lay their eggs in the fecal and they climb up the grass. You'll typically hear that analogy. They wrap themselves around the grass. And then your goats go and eat the grass and they ingest it. And then they just keep ingesting it, right? And that's how it happens. Birds cannot get or transmit barber pole. This is so important. I feel like bird poop is not good, okay? Let's be honest. Bird poop is nasty, okay? We don't like bird poop. Nobody does. But is the bird poop causing the problems that's hurting our animals right now? No, it is not. I've done numerous hours worth of research, honestly.
That was the first thing we did last time with Oki.
Was birds.
Oki had barber pole worms too and tried to rehome a lot of them. And so it was probably good to do it to help the pond smell better and help other things. But from the research we did, I don't think there's any indication that has anything to do with ducks or geese anyways.
We're all, and chickens, by the way. Chickens as well.
The chickens actually help it, but the duck and the geese are,
they don't eat
I think
them.
they're like non-factors.
No, they're non-factors. So, yes, they can pollute a water source, okay? They can. We know that can happen, That can happen. Makes algae grow in your pond, all these just nasty things. They can make a water source just nasty, which can impact overall health. That's not our problem, though. Our pond doesn't stink. It did used to, let's be honest.
That's a good thing they got better about rehoming some of them.
It did.
The pond, it smells a lot better. It's a lot clearer now.
The pond smells a lot better. The poop is much more manageable over there. It's not bad anymore. It was for a little bit, let's be totally honest. But that is not what killed Oki. And that's not what is affecting our goats right now. It is 100% barber pole worms, which birds have no impact on. Yes, can a bird eat barber pole worms? Yes, they can. But what happens is when it goes into their system, it dies in their belly. And it goes nowhere. But the animals that are always going to be most susceptible to that class of worms is sheep and goats. Always. And I think sheep even more than goats is what I'm reading. So, we're facing an uphill battle, okay? They're always going to be in the soil. We're doing everything we can, y'all. But I think that it's really important to know, because I've seen a lot of people that are like, it's the birds, it's the birds, it's the birds. Trust me, if it was the birds, we would hugely, hugely reduce our numbers or move them to a completely other area where they're nowhere near the goats. But it's not the birds. It's not. Honestly, part of me wishes it was the birds, because then that's like a simple solution, right? We could fix that. But this is not something that is caused by the birds. Just a question. Would doing a controlled burn help reduce barber pole? I don't know anything about that. I'm going to be totally honest. I had a chat with Dr. Cochran today. Actually, Dr. Cochran didn't see Angel, but I called her today and updated her on the situation because she's closely following what's going on with us. And
we do gotta find a way to do something about the ground, though. I feel like.
Well, I'm getting there.
I'm
getting there. I'm getting there. I promise. I talked to her, and I was like, "What can I spread on?" I called her because I was like, "Hey, I just looked up this agricultural lime. I've looked up, is it diatomaceous earth? What can I put on the ground?" She's like, "Honestly, off the top of my head," and she's busy, I don't know what you can put on the ground safely. I know safely I can put down diatomaceous earth. I was reading, though, there are much more effective measures, but I don't know what's animal safe, and I'm scared to sometimes trust the internet. I would rather hear it come from a vet and be like, yeah, that's vet safe, Like we just treated a pond. It says it's livestock safe, but we have them away from that pond just in case, because we don't want to do anything unnecessary. And so I talked to her today, and she essentially told me what you can do is you pasture rotate. We do that. We do that. Albeit we haven't been the best at it. We don't have a whole lot of pastures to rotate to because goats have to have very specific fencing. And yes, we have if you know our pasture setup, you know, but there's kind of the back where the cows used to be when they were here. Goats will get out of that fencing, and we cannot change that fencing. Actually, I've talked to Lester very in depth about this because there was a time where when we did have the cows, and I was like, hey, you know, if we start pasture rotating, all this stuff, I was talking to Lester about it essentially, and he's like, yeah, but I just need you to remember that, you know, when you use that pasture, you can't change the fencing there because that is the major floodplain where all the flood rush water comes in. And you would essentially, if you assume you're going to flood every year, you would be replacing that every year, you know? If you don't do that, your goats are going to get out of the barbed wire. You know, it's just not appropriate goat fencing. And so we're kind of limited to 2 different pasture rotates, which isn't great, but it's better than nothing. And so what do we do to supplement in that time? So tomorrow we're having, I mean, every day's a work day, but tomorrow I'm going to film the work day. So I'm calling it a big work day because I'm going to film it. Normally I don't, because I'm not into that kind of content. And I'm really about posting content that makes me happy, that I enjoy. And I don't enjoy watching people work. I don't. That's just me. I like watching people love on animals. So that's the kind of content I post. But tomorrow I am going to film what we're doing. Now, I talk in my video that I'm trying to have upload. I promise I'm trying to have it upload, but I thought that for the people that really want answers right now and kind of things, know kind of what we're doing, I thought it would be okay to kind of reiterate it. Are you okay?
I want to talk about something, but I don't know if you're okay with it.
What is it? I was going to get there. All right.
Right.
I was going to talk about that actually. Because that's why I wanted to make the live. Because I contradicted that in my last video. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes we like to have things thought out before. This is a very spontaneous live. Okay, so where was I? He just made me lose my train of thought. Things we do. We drag every day to every other day. We're human. Some days get really busy and we miss a drag day. Every day to every other day, we try our absolute best. So you move the poop around, disturbs the life cycle, all those things. Okay, we do that. Clean water, bleached water, everything's clean. You know, they don't eat on the ground, but they do graze, and that's how they get the worms. So what else can we do? We're going to introduce this stuff called bioworma into their feed. It does, I actually don't know what it does. It was recommended to me. The way that I understand it is that it doesn't kill the parasites, but it helps like slow down their life cycle or something when they come out of the animal. So it doesn't do anything to the inside of the animal. It's management outside of the animal once the fecal's on the ground, if that makes sense. I have it with me. We're going to start with it. It has to be mixed with feed. Another thing we're going to start doing, we're going to completely change our worming protocol. I talk in my video about this, but now I'm telling you right now, based on this live, that what I said in the video, because I filmed the video earlier today, I'm 180ing on. I said that it would be kind of impossible for us to do the 1 month feed based Maisie. Can you put her up here? They'll want to see her. Come here, Maisie.
Come here, Maisie.
Hi, baby. Yes. You love your mama. You love your mama. Mama loves you. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Also, pigs can't get barber pole, just in case you were wondering.
They're one of the ones that they eat it and it dies.
Yeah.
The only problem is they don't eat very much of the other poop, so they don't.
No, they don't. But just so you know. All right, train of thought. Sorry, I said in my video, you know, our vets have recommended the 3 to 4 month a year chemical deworming protocol. That's what we've always done. And then we moved to under Dr. Cochran's recommendation. Still do that, but don't do it 3 to 4 times a year to avoid building resistance. So when your animals do get the worms, the dewormer will be more effective And that means worming when you see symptoms. And that also means just kind of maintenance of taking fecals in and seeing their counts. Here comes Peaches.
I wanted to show y'all a little Peachy.
She's currently yellow right now, y'all. And you know what? Let's take a break from the heavy stuff real quick. And let me tell you why Peaches is yellow on her body. And it's totally my fault each and every time. The other night, I had Panda Express. I had Panda Express. Not naming any names, but Cup probably knocked it off of the coffee table. I should have put it up in the fridge, but I didn't. It didn't happen. And Maisie got into it, which then anytime Maisie gets into something, it attracts Peaches. And so Peaches got into soy sauce, essentially, is what happened. So that made her brown.
She smelled like Chinese food.
She smelled like Chinese food for like a day. Then, the next day, I collected... Cup, where did you find those?
It's always Cup.
Sorry. The next day, I collected like 4 eggs from my chickens, and I was going to use them to make pancakes or something. I don't know. I set them on the counter, and I realized way too late that I have bad cats that like to play with it like it's a ball. And they flung it off the counter, cracked it on the ground. Peaches ran through the cracked egg, fallen all over the floor. So now she's covered in egg. Long story short, Peaches is yellow because she's covered in egg. Story of our lives. But anyways, like I was saying, yeah, I just answered that question that deworming regularly over time, it's a risk that you can build resistance. It's very known risk. It's just like building up antibiotic resistance. You know, it's the same thing, except dewormers aren't antibiotics. So you have to make a decision. Are you on a farm? Are you going to be the farm that deworms every 3 to 4 months, change of seasons, knowing that you can build the resistance? Are you going to be the one that maybe deworms the whole herd once a year and then deworms based on symptoms? Meaning you're going to have to start tracking their clinical signs more. Is that an ugly one?
No, it's nice. Really sweet, actually.
Okay. Sorry, I'm really, people can...
Mama Bear's coming out.
Mama Bear comes out when people are starting to attack us over losing an animal, but it's okay. Or there's another option. It's nothing we've ever considered, but now I think we're going to consider it. Do you want to take it away?
Take what away?
You want to talk about it?
What, the dewormer?
Yeah, if you want to talk about it, you can.
I mean, it's just pretty straightforward that I've wondered too that, you know, Pawpaw, Jake, Bree, and Dan live on the same, even Kim, they live on the same property that we do, and they have the same kind of animals that we do generally, and so it feels like it's a bigger problem for us than for them, and so why would it be that? And so we're trying to think, and
what do they do differently?
And so number one, I guess, is the sheer amount that we have. We had 16, 17 at a time. They only have like
Bree has what, 3 goats?
3. Dan is like 6 or something like that. So they have way less than we do, and about the same, if not more, area. So that's one thing. And then even also based on the math, just common sense tells you that it'll seem like one gets sick more often than another.
When you have more.
When you just have more. Mm-hmm. But then the second thing that I'm really starting to lean towards now is the dewormer, because they all do the 1 month dewormer. It's a little feed.
Well, I don't know who all does it. I know for sure Pawpaw and Dan do it.
I'm presuming that everyone else does it.
I don't know about Bree. I would think that Kim does the same thing that Pawpaw does, because I remember Pawpaw telling me about something that happened with Kim's goat, and he recommended to her doing the same thing.
I think Pawpaw, Dan, and Kim do the 1 month dewormer, which is a feed. And so, you know, vets, you'll usually say, and we've been told, that the chemical wormer is best because it's a strong, powerful chemical, and the feed dewormer, they digest it and it's ineffective after a month. But then, ironically, now that I'm thinking about it...
But if you keep deworming over a month, they can never get the parasites.
In theory, they say that if you deworm too much, then the parasites can develop immunity or resistance to the dewormer itself. Even on Angel's autopsy, it talked about how, unfortunately, barber poleworms are just becoming incredibly resistant. And so basically, I'm just kind of rambling. Long story short, theoretically this, theoretically that. And so we're doing what you would think would be the best way to do it, but somehow, some way, I guess the 1 month dewormer seems to be working better for Paw Paw and for Dan and for Kim. And so it might be time for us to go up that avenue.
We just need to find out which one.
Because even if in theory, 1 month, it's like not very potent and stuff like that, or doing it so often the parasites will develop immunity someday. Like we need to not worry about someday. We need to worry about right now. And so right now we just need to survive month to month.
I think unfortunately, I feel like that's where we're at, is we need to survive month to month, and that's very sad and that's very hard, but I'm starting to realize that's how farm life goes. It's about survival. It is. And you have to expect on a farm you're going to have life and death, but I think we've gotten to the point where we know we have some uphill battles against us, even though we're doing everything we can, and the vets are constantly telling us, like, you're doing everything right. You can still do everything right and make all of these changes and still lose animals. And it's heartbreaking too, because these are not just animals. These are our babies. They have names, they have personalities, they have stories. This is a really good question. Could Angel's disabilities have made him more susceptible to illness? This is why this is a puzzle, okay, with Angel and his disability. I think Ali said in his video today that Angel was born with his disability. I think you said that.
Did I say that?
I think so. Angel got attacked by a predator when he was young, and not with us, with his previous owners, and had a severe mouth disability, his crooked jaw. Angel never had a hard time eating grain or drinking water. But it was interesting to watch him eat grass. He never pulled up on the grass like sheep are supposed to. He would kind of clip the grass like goats would, but it would be even less than the goats. So to hear that Angel has parasites, it's like Angel has never been a concern. Angel always has beautiful FAMACHA scores, never has any symptoms, never lethargic, wants to take B12. You come out with a syringe and he wants medicine, He wants Safeguard. All these things. So it was kind of like, there's no way it could have been parasites. There were no symptoms. What happened? He had been fine. What happened? And the necropsy came back parasites, and it was truly a shock. And so I'm probably rambling on more about this live and encroaching the area of the educational stuff that I talked about in the other video. That video is going to go up when it goes up. I'm trying to get it uploaded tonight. We've had a lot going on. There's rotation of medicine, like this friend just said. But if we do, I think we're seriously considering the feed dewormer. We need to research. You have to know with your dewormers what your dewormer's treating, because I feel awful. This was so sad. My mom one time was like, yeah, my goats definitely have parasites, like they're anemic. Turns out we found out it was lice. Not even a parasite, technically, an external parasite, not an internal parasite. But she went and bought a dewormer, and it's a very widely used dewormer, but it treated like the worms that essentially she thought that her animal had. It didn't treat. It would have treated it in different animals, but it wouldn't have treated it in a goat and a sheep. And so that dewormer was then ineffective. And so you have to know like what dewormers use. So like ivermectin will treat barber pole, roundworms, all of those, but it doesn't kill them. It paralyzes them in the body. So they can't do anything. They can't suck the blood. Safeguard, it starts with an F as the actual medication name. It will kill barber pole and other parasites. And so we're just trying to look and see what dewormer medications we can get, and all of that. Just know, y'all, we're not sitting on our hands and knees. We are losing sleep. I think we have collectively, the night Angel passed, we got 2 hours of sleep. 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And mind you, in the middle of all of that, I'm not saying, hey, have a pity party for us. But while all of this is going on, we had a cat spay appointment on Monday. We got Wilbur fixed today. I have a video about that. And y'all, that's scary, watching your animal come out of anesthesia. And then, oh my gosh, I talk about this in my video too. Yesterday, I'll say it because they're okay. The goats were sneezing last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, pneumonia. So I'm running to the Dollar General to get a baby thermometer to take their temperatures at 9 o'clock at night. By the way, just so you know, everybody's temperature came back great. And they stopped sneezing this morning. It's great. Checked everybody's FOMACHAs this afternoon. Some friends were looking pale, right? You agree? Pretty pale.
Yeah.
Not horribly, but they look like they're decreasing.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes ago before this live, we were outside checking their FOMACHAs again. Everybody's red. 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 What is happening? What is happening? Is this like it feels like some kind of sick joke, honestly. It does. It's crazy. I don't know how I'm supposed to keep up with everything. So I'm going to have a video coming out over the next few days. You know, I'm going to have a Wilbur video coming out. I'm trying to get this video up first about, you know, what we're going to be doing moving forward. Coming out tomorrow, I'm filming our work day. And then there was one more video. Oh, I'm going to show you my new medication, my new journal protocol I've got. I have a whole journal of just everything. And so, yeah, it's interesting. I think it kind of shows into just how much we really do check. You know, there are smiles over here, y'all, but it's still very much, we're trying just to push through and be happy for the animals that we have with us right now, because we're just very happy that we could have been a part of Angel's life and that Angel did have us and he got to be loved. And I don't think, I don't even know. I just lost my train of thought again. Just know that we are heartbroken. It's very much a struggle right now. Feeling very defeated. It's hard to know you're doing the best you can and doing the right thing, but still not feeling like a failure.
Or to even hear the professionals telling you you're doing everything right, but the results just don't feel like it.
They're not showing that. It's incredibly frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. I can't even begin to. I'm sure you can imagine. It's very hard, and you want to love these animals and do everything you can for them and give them everything you have, but it is so hard. It is so hard. It's a lot. And we're not going to stop trying. We're going to keep going. We're not turning our back on any animals we have. It's just a lot right now. It's a lot right now, and emotions are everywhere, and it's also very hard. It's hard enough to have an animal pass and have to deal with that on your own, but then we constantly feel like we're letting y'all down whenever we have an animal that passes. I talk about a little bit in my video, living in the glass house. That's very, very hard. You know, people who know nothing of the story, who watch one video, make assumptions. And it's like, hey, yeah, let's pass. I'm the one that has to take the animal to A&M and get them to do the necropsy side of this, and I'm the one that has to find the animal. I have to hand over my animal's body to them. You know, have the nerve to. It's very, very hard. We're the ones that have to do that, and people still hurt. And so, saying all of that, I want to give money coming from me, because it's like our animal. I say my, but he knows I mean us. But you love our animals too. And so my condolences and my prayers for y'all, and I'm so sorry to have to bring this news to y'all. I imagine y'all would much rather the transparency and the honesty, though. I don't imagine that Angel, like, you would just know he's gone. And you deserve to know what happened, and that we're doing everything we can. But it's difficult. And so I also want to say that all of you that are so kind and are giving us all your condolences and your prayers. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being kind. Thank you for being a good human on the internet. It's greatly appreciated. Your support means the world to us. I don't think we could do what we do without the prayer warriors that we have.
Yeah.
It is very hard, and we're very blessed that God has even put us in this position. While the losses suck and they're horrible and we don't want to accept them, God has a plan. And I know at the end of the day, the animals that pass, I will see again, and they're not alone, and they're in heaven, and that's what I believe. You don't have to believe it, but that's what I believe. It brings me comfort, and everything happens for a reason. These animals just don't pass in vain. They don't. God has a plan for every single one of them. Sorry, I keep looking over at him because it's though.
You gotta do something. You gotta keep going.
To look at, he's playing chess. You do have to keep going. But yeah, I just wanted to give y'all a little more of a update of that. I do have a video coming out. Something since I filmed the video has changed. I'm trying to get it out. I promise. Like I said, it's a 40-minute video. It's taking forever to upload. It told me it had 127 hours while we were at Walmart and Tractor Supply. 127 hours. So
To upload. So it'll be ready in about a week.
yeah, yeah, it's great. We love it. It's great. But I'm gonna go cook us dinner, do more animal checks. We're just gonna keep loving our animals.
Yeah.
And we'll have more updates for y'all soon. I'm so sorry, y'all. I wish I had better news. I really do. But I love and appreciate you all. And I'll catch you next time with another one. Bye, friends.